Gratitude is the key to abundance. Gratitude raises the vibration. I have used gratitude when I've had negative thoughts. When I have a thought that's starting to take me down to that depressing problem that I have, what am I going to do? I replace it with gratitude. What am I grateful for today? And I feel better immediately. And my day goes beautifully and smoothly and peacefully. It has been my greatest tool that I teach in replacing negative thoughts with what you're grateful for. So, hallelujah! Woo! Everybody, hallelujah! Yes, I love that word. What comes to mind when you heard that word? Was it, yes, singing warm praises to God, or was it, oh no, religion, kind of discomfort, right? Get me out of here. Words have power. Every word has a frequency, and that frequency, our cells in our body respond to that frequency in those words. Every word you utter, every word you think has a wave of energy that creates your reality. You all know this. You know this. It has the power to either improve or destroy relationships, finances, and health. The words we say, the words we think create our reality. So you don't have the luxury of a negative thought when you know that. As a hypnotherapist, I know the power of the subconscious mind is always listening, and it will always deliver up what you are saying and speaking. Even if you're saying something negatively about someone else, like gossiping, your subconscious takes it as if you were saying it to yourself. Powerful. Be aware of the words that you are using. I found such a power in speaking what I want to create, what I want to do, and writing it down. That's the second powerful step. Speaking it and writing it. Magic. When you write down your intentions, when you write down your goals, you find they come to you without much effort. It's an amazing process. I invite you to listen on several levels today. One, how the power of words and the power of our stories to heal and to transform our lives. And two, learning about how to find the message in your story, your experience that you went through, to inspire other people. If it's to promote your business or to promote a message to make a higher impact in the world, if you feel inspired that maybe that is part of your purpose, to be a speaker, to be a writer, to be an author, or to share this with your children and your family about being aware of their words. My story begins, actually I'm going to jump into the middle of my story, is going through the breakup of a 15-year marriage and realizing the reality of having less time mothering my children. Breaking my heart. Can some of you relate to that? Going through and losing time with your children. So depression and blame and judgment and negativity. And I remember going to counseling, and this is what I learned. I learned, stop thinking about it. Stop talking about it. Your wounds can't heal when you're in that victim space. This happened to me, right? No one wants to hear it when you're in that space. So I did. I stopped talking about it. In fact, I didn't share that story for like 10 years with anyone. My friends didn't even know that I went through that. But I'm going to share more with you. So I retrained my brain to think happy, good, positive things I'm grateful for. and I got really good at it. I got so good at it that incredible, amazing things began to happen. And one night, though, when I was feeling, at night, those emotions come and you're alone and you're thinking, and it gets really hard at night sometimes. And you feel like, I don't know if I can keep going on. I can't live this way anymore. And so I'm crying, poor me, nobody loves me. The next morning I woke up, completely different feeling. And I'm like, what happened in the night? Am I bipolar or what, The lows to the very highs, I think that's the bipolar. But there was new words rattling around in my mind and my heart, and they were, something wonderful is going to happen. Those words led me on my journey to healing, to my purpose, and to being here today. Something wonderful is going to happen. I believed it. I said, I don't care what happens today. I'm going to have a wonderful day. I'm just going to do it. So I woke up and I was excited to get to work and I was happy and I had a pep in my step and I got to work. And within an hour of me thinking those thoughts, I got to my desk and above my computer was a piece of paper and pinned to that were 6 words that shocked me. My mouth dropped open. And I said, how is that possible? How is that possible? Those 6 words on that paper read, something wonderful is going to happen. I had the thought. An hour later, it appeared at my workplace. That paper wasn't there before. Someone had put that note there. The power of our thoughts in our reality. That became my motto. And when my children were crying, they didn't want to go to school, they didn't want to do this, I reminded them, something wonderful is going to happen. Every time they came home and they told me amazing things. Mom, it works. So I took that with working with my high school students. And I said, write it down, something wonderful is about to happen, and believe it, and get excited like a kid on Christmas. And notice what happens next. So they came back and they told me. One student said, well, I was walking down the street and I literally bumped into my best friend that had moved away. I'd lost her phone number. I was thinking about her and I literally ran into her. That's pretty wonderful. The next student came in and she said, I won the lottery. Okay, it gets better than that. She went back to the car after winning her ticket, winning the lottery, and she said, she laughed, and she goes, I'm going to do it again. It was in her notebook, and she said, something wonderful is about to happen. She went back in, bought another ticket, and won 2 times in a row. She learned the power of our words and our thoughts aligned with our feelings creates wonderful things. Our stories have power. We all are born into a story of our parents' story. We absorb their story in the environment. Our stories are written on our body. Are you the victor or the victim? Are you the victim or the victor of your story? When I first started telling my story, going through the divorce and losing time with my children, I hadn't healed yet. I hadn't gotten to my wow part of my story yet. And I remember getting some feedback from the audience. They said, yeah, you sound like a victim. Oh, I didn't want to sound like that. I hadn't given it enough time to get through my victory. But now I have. And I share this story with you. On one of the greatest days of my life, filled with joy and love, later turned to deep sadness. I had just given birth to my son, my first. And even before I got home to get him out of his car seat and take him into our home, I felt this cloud of deep, depressing sadness that I wouldn't have my child very long. And I began to cry. Well, I later learned, years later, that that was a premonition. that 13 years later, my son was swept up in an ugly storm of an angry divorce, which caused him to cut me out of his life for 13 years. So I tried everything and nothing worked. I tried the court, I tried psychiatrists, I tried counseling, I tried everything possible. When I called, he hung up. When I sent letters, he didn't get them. Nothing worked, nothing helped. And everyone said, well, when he's about 25 or 26, he'll come back. That's a long time. So I went on. But here's the thing I want to share with you. Everyone said, let him go. Let him go. How do you do that? How do you let go of that pain? How do you let go of that? This is what I learned. Accept it. This happened. There's nothing you can do about it. You don't have control here. And forgive. I had to forgive his father for turning him against me and brainwash him. And forgive myself. And that is how you let go. Accept it and forgive it and go on. So I did. I remarried, had another child, and still, he wouldn't even acknowledge me as his mother. So I went and got a new job, and I was teaching high school dropouts out of gangs and jail, and they didn't have parents. They had abusive, neglectful, and no parents in their life. And they needed compassion, and they needed love. And they adopted me, and I adopted them. And my heart started healing because they wanted my positivity. It felt really good. So one student said that the theme was love. And one student said, what is love? I really don't know what it is. The assignment was write a love letter to yourself. One student named Kyrie wrote the most beautiful poem about love and loving yourself. He didn't know how to love himself, but I have it on that paper, a part of that poem that I wanted to share with you. He was out of prison for armed robbery, and he was in my English class, and he wrote, part of this was, love yourself. Look at yourself in the mirror. Smile at yourself. Give yourself a compliment. Think about your whole life. Find an understanding in yourself. Try to find a purpose. I got inspired. I got inspired to say, let's write poetry about your feelings and your emotions. And my question was, what do you want to heal in your heart? And they began to pour their thoughts and feelings onto the paper about, their really traumatic lives. And they felt lighter and they felt better. The next step, I said, now get up in front of the class and share. Share a bit of your story and share your poem. Because in their poem, they had created their healing remedy. And there was so much power in speaking it and having other people hear it and inspiring other people with their message. And they began to see themselves differently and transformed their life by sharing their message, sharing their story, taking their wounds and turning them into their wow story. Well, Kyrie, one day when I asked him what did he want to heal in his heart, he said, abuse. And he went off to write. He came back about an hour later with 7 pages of the healing of forgiveness to his father. He inspired the whole school. I invited a poet to come and listen, and this poet listened to Kyrie read and said, this poem's going to change lives. And that poet took it into the Folsom prison, had an inmate read it to 25 convicted murderers. Healing was going on in that room, he said. Well, I thought I was onto something, this poetry and writing. And this poet had told me a woman that had cancer had written all her thoughts and feelings in a journal and said, here, write a poem for me. from all of my thoughts and feelings. And he did. He wrote a poem. It went viral, went around the world, inspiring so many people with the message of hope. And when he told me that, I said, wait a minute. How much more powerful it is to teach someone how to write their own poem and speak their own poem. So that's where I created the Healing Hearts Method, Poetry Therapy. And my students were my first to go through it. And we went to other schools, we went to churches, we went to the state capitol, we even went on TV and radio, and they were getting standing ovations for sharing their message. And I wanted to write a book on this, I wanted to make a movie on this, I was so excited to share this process. Our stories are powerful. People are waiting to hear your story and your message. Every one of you has a message to share. I think of Forrest Gump on that bus bench, sharing his life experiences. He didn't think too much about them. They were ordinary to him, but he inspired each person that sat there about these extraordinary things that happened to him. Writing your story is powerful. It's therapeutic. How many people have written a book here? How many authors do we have? Many in the back, yes. It's a therapeutic process. So just journaling, that's what I got my students with. Your thoughts and feelings and journaling them and taking those words and creating a poem out of that is the first step towards your message in your book. So, words have power. Our stories have power. Writing is a powerful way to release the emotions. I worked with a woman. Funny how people come to you that you've had similar things. She came to me and she had lost her children in a divorce. Her husband had turned them against her. And she was dealing with grief of losing her mother. And her children, she was just very sad about not having them. And we worked on the first thing I work on, your thoughts. Think about what you do want, not about what you don't want. And envision what you want to create. See your children in your life. See them coming to you. See that. And then we had to do the forgiveness piece. She had to forgive herself. She had to forgive the ex-husband. And within a month, she came back and told me her children wanted to be in her life. They wanted to live with her. They were speaking to her. No court, no mediation, no conversation with the ex-husband. It was she shifted within herself. Miraculous shifts happen with our thoughts and our feelings and stating what we want to feel and have. Well, her story gets even better, and she inspired me. I checked in with her, how you doing, what's going on? She says, everything has improved, her business, her career, and then she had a boyfriend. She goes, should I break up with him? I don't know if he's the right one. I don't know what to do. And her intuition increased, because when you release the emotional toxins, your intuition increases and your spiritual gifts come out. It's an amazing process. And she said, yes, I broke up with him. I knew it was the right thing. I felt good about it. Her confidence. And then she told me her soulmate appeared. She said he just came into her life, and it was the best relationship she'd ever had in her entire life. And she sent me a picture of her with him in front of the Eiffel Tower in an embrace. And I said, wow, that's amazing. That's miraculous. So I work with people to transform their lives, transform their business with confidence, have more fulfilling, loving relationships, improve their health. And I'm really excited because I've developed this new program called Heal It, Write It, Speak It. And when clients come to me and they want to do speaking, but they're deathly afraid of it, I have a beautiful client experience that she was afraid just to have a conversation. But she knew it was holding her back, and she knew she needed to break through. So she made a goal. I want to speak, and she volunteered to do speaking. And she'd never done it before. And luckily, she met me, and I said, I can help you. And we worked on the emotional part about that fear that came from childhood. And then we worked on the confidence and arranging the speaking to wow her audience. And I couldn't wait to hear what happened when she went to speak. And she was speaking to a room of educators. Well, she told me she felt really confident. She really enjoyed the process. She wants to be a speaker, and she got a standing ovation. And her audience was coming up and hugging her, and now she's on her way to share her message of her breaking through her fears to the other side, to empowering others to share their message. I had another client with lots and lots of lifetime of fears. And in the hypnosis process, she was able to break through one after another. And she came out of the session, she goes, now I can write my book. She went home. I mean, it like downloaded to her, and she didn't even know what was coming. She's just typing and typing and typing. She had her life story, her message, and she just published. She just published her book. And it was the releasing the limitations, the negativity, and the fears that opened her up to channel her message, to make a difference in the world. And that is just so exciting to be able to be a part of, and I'm honored to be a part of that. So back to Kyrie. In my class, he's feeling empowered and transformed with his ability to write and to speak and inspire others. And one day, he just takes over the class. I just says, we're teaching life skills, and he's talking to his classmates about life. They're listening to him much greater than they listen to me. And I said, okay, yes, let's keep this going. This is amazing. So he's inspiring them, and he turns to me and looks me in the eye, and he said, Miss Carolyn, you need to know you changed my life, and I love you. That was worth everything. That was my priceless gift, healing my heart. Well, soon my miraculous gift appeared. One day after school, the phone rang, and I heard a man's voice say, "Hi, Mom." "Hi, Mom." He was 26 years old. And he was finally ready to let me back into his life. And I said, boy, do I have a story to tell you. And I said to him recently, I said, Taylor, when we were going through this, we lost a lot of time, and it took a lot of healing to come back together, that perhaps we're going to be helping other parents and other teens. And he says, yeah, Mom, I could see that. So we go through the things that we go through to learn about the courage and our purpose and our message that we have to uplift others, and they will come into you. And maybe you're sitting on a bus bench, and maybe you're like that Forrest Gump, and you just have a couple of words to share to someone that can change their life in sharing your experience and your story. I encourage all of you to think about what that is. You all have something to start writing, to start healing by forgiving, letting it go, and loving yourself more. Those are my top tips on every experience I have working with people with whatever problem it is. First thing is, you got to love yourself. You are worthy. You got to forgive yourself for holding on, and forgive those who've hurt you. Let it go and change your wound story into your victory story, and wow your friends and your clients and your audience. And maybe you will become a speaker. Maybe you will become a writer. Or maybe you're just helping that person as you go along in your life. Words are powerful. Our stories are powerful. So I encourage you to take a look at what is it within you that you need to heal. With that first question, what are you ready to heal? And then on your paper that I gave you is, what is the name of the chapter of your book? And maybe you could write that down. Or what is that one word, like Kyrie chose abuse? What is your word, your theme word that you want to let go of in your life? Words, 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 wreaking havoc on my brain, interrupting, judging, wrong, false lies, interrupting who I am. Epiphany, I love that word. Healing remedy. Reveal your story. Accept it. Share it. Love and forgiveness. Divine hallelujah words. Thank you for listening.